question came in about food combining and the difference in my head of food combining for an 80-10-10 raw vegan versus maybe food combining for your next door neighbor. And I see big differences there, not only in what they're willing to do, but in how we want to approach it to get the most out of food combining. So I'm going to start with why would we even bother food combining? We're food combining in order to optimize digestion. Certain things digest really well together and certain things barely digest at all or very poorly when they're put together. So there's mixtures that I want to avoid when I'm doing 80-10-10 that might be insignificant for my next door neighbor. They've got other bigger concerns about what goes well together in order to maximize their digestion. Because if they can't maximize digestion, they can't get the most or the best out of absorbing the food they eat. If we don't absorb much or the max of what we eat, first of all, you wonder why did we eat it, but also your nutrition is really, you're compromising. So in order to optimize nutrition, we have to optimize digestion. And that doesn't matter whether we're 80-10-10 or what we tend to call standard Western diet, used to be known as standard American diet, but that's a little ethnocentric, and besides, it's just sad. So for a person on a Western diet, I'm going to encourage them to separate out super starchy meals or super starchy foods from the things we think of as protein, which generally actually are super fatty. So the fatty protein meats, eggs, dairy, fish, fowl, and all the other stuff along this line, right? Anything that we think of as high protein foods, even though in reality they tend to be high fat foods, we understand that. If they can just get the idea of separating starch meals from high protein meals, because that's what they put together every single time, right? It's like bread and meat. It's meat and potatoes. It's always that combination. And if they can combine those two things, we open a door for them, because they go, well, what am I going to have instead of a potato with my steak? And you go, how about a nice serving of broccoli? How about a nice head of cauliflower or a serving of cauliflower? How about some other vegetables? You know, make a little slaw on the side, or something that will be more plant matter. Well, granted, the starch was plant matter, but it's plant matter that's going to digest well. And they'll notice that difference. They'll notice that difference because starch and protein do not mix well together in the digestive system, simply because two different digestive processes have to happen, and they can't happen in the same place in the same time. And even if you digest proteins and fats a bit more in the stomach and starches a bit more in the intestines, so two separate places, it's still the same bulk, what's known as a bolus of food passing through. And if you're trying to get the max protein digestion happening, it's going to either require fantastic amounts more work, or you're going to compromise the starch digestion that has to happen later on, because two different chemical mediums have to be in place and they don't mix well. They almost neutralize each other. Hence, we open a door, because now we say, you know what? How about Oh, you still like a baked potato. Oh, you still like rice. You still want to have bread. You want to have corn. You want to have all this kind of stuff. Great. Okay. Not ready to go raw vegan by any stretch. But how about if you take all those starchy foods and you plan on those being the bulk of your lunch? Nobody's going to sit down to just rice for lunch. Oh, what did you have? Just potato. I want to have something with it. Great. Let's have a salad. Let's have some vegetables. Let's have more plants with the starch. Maybe green, maybe red, maybe orange, maybe something that will digest well instead of something that won't. And a cool thing happens, because in both cases we've added vegetables which are very low caloric density foods in lieu of something that was a high calorie density food. Instead of a sandwich at lunch of meat and bread and cheese, we're now having a sandwich at lunch that's lettuce and tomato, or just lettuce and carrot and cucumber on a sandwich. And they go, ah, this is very nice. It's still very nice. The baked potato with broccoli is very nice, but the calorie content of that meal compared to potato and steak, it's probably cut in half or maybe less. But there's more volume, so the people can still be satisfied without having taken in so many calories. And we solve a separate problem, not only digestion and nutrition, so your digestion and it feels better, and nutrition you feel better, but we're also downsizing on calories, and that's going to help them with weight management, which otherwise on a standard Western diet you just don't have a chance. So that would be it for them, and you don't have to really make 27 changes all at once. Let's keep it simple enough so your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, you want to be a force for good in their life, and maybe introduce the idea of just separating out starch from protein into lunch and dinner, and add in more vegetables, and you'd feel good because you're a force for good in their life. They can feel good because they experience the positive change without it being so threatening that they just say no, 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 right? And then once they experience a positive change, that once again might provide a bit of incentive to them to say, okay, now what's next? What else could I do? So it's kind of cool. Meanwhile, for somebody doing 80-10-10, we avoid that entire problem completely because we're not eating any starches. So we don't have to worry about that kind of food combining. What do we combine with our starch? Instead, we can get into something that's a little bit more nuanced, if you will, a little smaller point, really. And we go, okay, well, I still want to have fatty food. I still want to have some nuts. I want to have some seeds. I want to have some avocado. What's it going to go well with? Because probably the most common question overall that I get asked about food combining, people see me making salads and salad dressings and saying, you're using fruit with fat? How do you do that? That doesn't combine. And what they've done is they've taken a simple concept and oversimplified it to a point of not understanding it all. Many different types of fruit not only combine well with fats, but they actually enhance your digestion of fats, because the acids in the fruits that have acid, such as an orange or a pineapple or a kiwi, berries, Granny Smith apple, the acid in acidic fruits emulsifies the fats that we eat. So if I take if I cut all a pineapple apart and then take the skin and squeeze the skin, I'm going to get a bunch of juice out of that skin. And if I mix that juice with avocado in a bowl, just put it together and mix, or maybe use a fork and mash the two together a bit, I end up with salad dressing that's much easier to digest than just eating avocado. It's going to sit lighter. It's going to have more highlights of flavor, which makes it more enjoyable to eat. Plenty of people, when they're new to avocado, go, this tastes of nothing. It tastes like fat. It tastes like butter. It tastes like nothing. Why would I want to eat this? And they go, oh, it's really lovely, and avocado is really lovely because I can do things with it, like add the juice of a pineapple. Meanwhile, I still get to eat all the pineapple, but out of the rind, I got all that extra juice, and I got a little bonus because it'll help me make a dressing. So I'm not going to take acid fruits and then mix them with starchy food. This mixture doesn't tend to digest very well. But I will take acid fruits and mix them with fat. Meanwhile, the non-acidic fruits, where all fruits are sweet, in the language of food combining, we call the non-acidic fruits sweet fruits. So we have bananas, we have dates, we have mamey, we have many fruits that are, wow, their overriding feature is their sweetness more than the acidic bite. Those fruits will not go well with fatty foods, but they taste great together. So we'll see a tremendous number of confections, even in the raw food movement, or perhaps especially in the raw food movement, where we'll take nuts and dates and put them together to make candy for kids, to make a special occasion taste treat. But it might not give you instant digestive problems. It might not turn your stomach into knots. You might eat it and go, wow, that actually digested really well, until it's time to eliminate. And then you go, oh, what a mess I experienced in the bathroom. What the heck was this? And you go, oh, yesterday I had dates and tomatoes in my salad. And that acidity and that sweet will not work. At some point in your digestive tract, it does not work. And then you go to eliminate and you go, oy, this really didn't. And if you look in the raw food movement, you see tons of people putting tons of dates in with tomatoes to make a fantastic number of what they call savory dishes. Now, and I'm going to say, no, they're not savory if we're adding dates to them. Of course, they turn around and they say, well, it adds just enough sweetness. And I go, well, if you wanted just enough sweetness, why didn't you put in a little pineapple, or put in a few strawberries, or put in some kiwi? That would have given it some sweetness in a way that would have digested well. If you want savory, eat savory. Have it be, it shouldn't even need sweetness. The only reason most people are adding sweetness into savory dishes is because what they were eating for sweet food wasn't enough. I mean, it's probably the biggest lesson in the raw food movement. Eat more fruit. So if we eat more fruit until we've had enough fruit, then you can say, oh, you know what, I'd really appreciate something savory. And I don't have to make it sweet by adding dates and then compromising my digestion. And I don't know, comment below, was this of any value to you? Did you find this helpful? I covered a lot of different points that all kind of stem off from basic food combining. The raw fooder still has to learn the nuance. Maybe you don't need to learn the science, but you could at least memorize the guidelines. And then when you get familiar with how to do it, you can work the nuances and the angles of that a little more to your advantage. But let me know down below if this is useful to you. Hi guys, Dr. Doug Graham here, and I have a question for you today. Are you passionate about helping others reach their fullest health and performance potential? Do you love coaching others? Because if you do, I have a tremendous opportunity to offer you today. With the 80-10-10 Coaching Certification Program, we'll help you turn your passion into profit. We'll show you how to reach clients anywhere, anytime, and you can be confident because you're learning from 3 of the most trusted and experienced people in the raw food movement. Turn your passion into a career while you're helping others get the health that they so desire and deserve. We'll give you the training, the tools, and all the support you need to become a successful 80-10-10 certified coach. Sign up today to become a level 1 coach.